All right. Good morning, everyone. If I'm audible enough, please can you drop a reaction? Oh, thank you very much, darling. Yeah, GM everyone, and hope the holiday was nice. GM everyone. All right, makes sense. Okay, so I can see your mentor is on the call, and this morning class, we don't intend to take so much time because your mentor also have other schedule and some things to meet up with. So I'll be handing over to him shortly. But the class is kind of scanty. All right, so please, Tali, just drop an update on the group so that more students could join in. Yeah, just drop a reminder. All right, good morning, Oshioke.
So good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning. Well done, boss. How is everything now?
This is going fine.
All right,
Thank you.
boss, Jim. So back to you. You could start since your schedule is kind of tight this morning, though why most students joining the call.
Thank you. No problem. Good morning, everybody. I'm sure I'm very audible. So my name is Oshioke Saraki, and I'll be taking you guys on to this class. So we're going to be going into front-end development in blockchain development. But we're going to begin like an introduction because of our limited time today. While tomorrow I'm going to give going into a more deeper dive, a more practical and deeper dive into front-end development. So let me share my screen so I can project the slides that we have. We have a very short slide. So just give me a second. Okay. I'm sure everyone can see my screen, right? So if everyone can see my screen, let me share my slide. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about front-end development in blockchain. So what is front-end development? Front-end development basically involves creating visual and interactive aspects of of a website or web application that users can directly engage with. It's a, it encompasses everything a user experiences on the web, from the layout and styling to the interactive features. I'm sure that day to day, each and every one of us interacts with websites, maybe um, Twitter, Google. We have different websites that we go to, maybe for the news, for sports, for entertainment. We have different websites that each and every one of us interacts with daily. So those are front-end applications that we users interact with, where we interact with it by clicking, scrolling, hovering, and so on and so on. And we can also interact with such features. Um, I mean, and we also interact with the websites. So so that is what basically what front-end development is. It's us creating those websites and web applications that users can directly engage with. Then we have technologies that make up a website or web application, and they are very crucial in front-end development. We have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So this is basically used for the structure of a website. You notice how in a website you can have the nav bar on top, then we have a hero section, we have sections, then we have a footer. So that structure, that structure is done with HTML. So HTML basically gives us the structure of a website. So if you go to a website like let's see, if you go to a website like Tailwind, so if you go to a website like this, you see that we have this header on top, which is the nav bar. We don't Then we also have this hero section. Then we have a section here like this. So you see how the structure, one section is following another section. We have this section that is side by side. We also have these sections and so on and so on. So this whole arrangement is done with HTML. The next thing that we have is CSS. So CSS is basically used for styling. So without style, our websites are going to be appearing bland and dry. It will basically be black and white. And having black and white website is not really entertaining and it's not really nice for users to go through because it creates this boring atmosphere. But with styling, you can add more life to your websites by putting in colors, different layouts, different animations, and so on. Like if you notice this tailwind here, you can see how it's so captivating to scroll through because it's very entertaining. So if you go to, you have a mixture of colors, we have interactions, movements, animations, and so on, which brings the website to life. So this is basically done with CSS, which is used for styling. Then the next thing that we have is JavaScript. JavaScript adds functionality to the website. Any website without JavaScript is basically a website that you just read. You are just reading. You can't, if you click on anything, nothing happens. If you maybe like so so what JavaScript does is that I'm trying to think of a website I've not. Okay, let's go to, let's say, Airbnb. So if you go to Airbnb and let's say we want to let's say we want to sign up. So when we click that button, we had this pop-up, this this pop-up. So JavaScript is basically for interactivity. So when we clicked on that sign in, we had this pop-up. This pop-up is done with JavaScript. So in JavaScript, behind the scene, it says that whenever this button is clicked, we want this modal to pop up, right? That's how JavaScript works. And if we type in our phone number, this is similar to logging into Twitter and the rest. If you type in your phone number and you click on continue, JavaScript is the one that actually authenticates you, creates an account for you, and you can log in with that account behind the scenes. So JavaScript is the one that handles that interactivity. Without JavaScript, we can continue clicking this continue from now to tomorrow and nothing will happen. So JavaScript is what makes things to actually happen in a website or web application. I don't know if there's any questions so far. Okay, so
Excuse me.
so if there's no
I have a
question so
question.
far, we can
Sorry.
go to the next thing. So
I have a question. Sorry.
so next we'll talk about is front-end frameworks. But before we talk about front-end frameworks, before front-end frameworks came into existence, the way we were writing websites and web applications was in a kind of vanilla way, in the sense that everything was very manual and everything was very repetitive. So and it was, would I say it was harder to build websites, or it was more stressful building websites and web applications until the event of frameworks. So frameworks came into the picture and made front-end development way, way easier for developers. So what is the framework? We're going to be specifically talking about JavaScript frameworks. So a JavaScript framework is a pre-written collection of code libraries, tools, and conventions that provide a well-structured foundation for developing web applications. It offers a set of reusable functionalities and components to streamline the development process and solve common problems encountered in web development. So that is basically what a framework is. So so basically, what this framework does is that it helps us to reuse logic and reuse components. Before now, we always, anytime we, I think it's better if I just show you an example of what I'm talking about. So this is an application, a website built with vanilla HTML and CSS. So you notice that, so I'm not sure that, so I'm just going to assume that we know a bit. You don't even have to know anything, just like follow what I'm saying. So this is vanilla HTML, right? So you can see that we have a footer here. So this is a footer. Before the so because this is vanilla HTML, in any page that we want this footer to appear, we need to write this exact same code in all the pages. And in this app, we have 3 pages. So you notice that if you come to contact.html, we have the footer here. If we go to index.html, we have this exact same footer here also. If we go to projects.html, we also have this exact same footer. So you see how we are repeating code on and on and on again. And maybe you might say that, oh, the footer is very small. There's no bad thing in repeating it. But just imagine your footer is like very complex and has like a lot of styling. Your footer can be maybe 100 lines. Imagine having one, and you have like, let's say, 10 to 20 pages in your application. Imagine repeating 100 lines every for each of the pages. So you see how it's not reusable. And if peradventure you want to change something in your footer, you need to change it in the 20 places that you have implemented the footer. So you see how it's not really time effective. So you see how vanilla HTML and CSS is not time effective. We have a lot of repeated code, and that makes it and that makes development stressful. So I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. If that's clear. So you see why we need front-end frameworks. So the front-end frameworks helps us to do this by making use of things called reusable components, where we just need to define a footer once and we can make use of that footer anywhere we need it by just calling that footer. And if we want to change anything in the footer, we only need to change it in one place. So the same thing with maybe your header or anything or any logic at all that you are using. You just need to specify it once and you can make use of it anywhere in your application. So that is so that's how front-end frameworks work. So but why does JavaScript frameworks exist? Number one, keeping a user interface in sync with data is really hard and a lot of work. Okay. It's hard and a lot of work. Front-end frameworks solve this problem and take away the hard work away from developers. They enforce a correct way of structuring and writing code, therefore contributing to solving the problem of spaghetti code. Spaghetti code is basically is spaghetti code is like what I talked about earlier. Then they give developers and teams a consistent way of building front-end applications. So we have some front-end some JavaScript frameworks that are common. We have things like Angular, we have React, we have Vue.js, and we have Svelte. These are popular JavaScript frameworks. But for this bootcamp, we are going to be focusing on React.js and Next.js. So Next.js is basically a framework built on top of React. React is this middle one here. This is React. This is Angular. This is Vue, and this is Svelte.js. So yeah, what is React.js? So React.js is a JavaScript library developed by Facebook for building user interfaces. It allows developers to create interactive and dynamic web applications by breaking down the UI into reusable components. So exactly what I spoke about earlier. So why React.js? React.js is a component-based, it has a component-based architecture. React utilizes a component-based architecture where UIs are broken down into reusable and modular components. This promotes code reusability, scalability, and easier maintenance. Developers can efficiently manage complex UIs by composing smaller or self-contained components. I'm sure you guys are hearing components. So we're going to be talking more. We're going to see how these components work like practically, maybe in this class or the next class. So you see how we can actually create components and that. So the next thing we're going to talk about is why React.js. We have better state management. So it reacts to state changes by re-rendering the UI. React does a good job at keeping the user interface in sync with the state of the application. So let me try and explain state management. State management is basically info is basically how information is being stored and kept and updated in an application. So for example, um let me go back to that. For example, let's say currently the that modal is not open. So we can say that the state for that modal is closed, right? But whenever this button is clicked, the state for this modal is set to open. That means the modal is open right now. But once we click on this button, the modal is set to closed. You get me? So that is how state is being managed. So that's an example of state. You can see that here now we have display total before taxes is set to off. But when we turn it on, just that this particular has been changed. That is the data, the information has been changed. And you see, once we changed it, the whole page we rendered to take into account of this particular change. So we're going to be talking more in detail about states today or tomorrow. Let me have so React does a very good state management. And we have large ecosystem and community support. So React has a vast ecosystem of libraries, tools, and resources that enhance development productivity and extends its capability. So React has a very, very huge community in the sense that there are a lot of developers, lots of content developers that make use of React daily. So in case of any challenges that you might be having, there's a huge community that's able to answer any of your questions or solve any of your problems in regards to React.js because it is not a new technology. So that is why React.js is like a very good framework to start with, and it has like a sort of easier learning curve compared to some of the other frameworks, some of the other JavaScript frameworks. So I don't know if there's any questions so far. So if there's any question, you can just raise your hand. Mm. So if so if there's no question, we're going to go into setting up our environments for development for React.js. So the first thing that you need to have installed is Node.js. So if you go to nodejs.org, I'll drop the link in the chat. Like this. So if you go to nodejs.org, so Node.js is a free open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment that lets developers create servers, web apps, command line tools, and scripts. So we need to install Node.js. So once you go to the home page, you just see it here. Download Node.js LTS, which is LTS is basically long-term support. So it's their most stable version currently available. So you download it and you set it up. Once that is set up, so mm, so downloading Node.js also comes with something called npm. npm is basically it's called npm is a node packets manager. So this npm helps us to download dependencies that we might be using in our application. So every application can make use of external dependencies to make up the application. So you can just downloading Node.js automatically installs npm for us. So I don't know if I should give you guys time to install it and set it up. Um, if I take if I take here, if I take Okay, so I don't is and you guys want me to wait for you guys to install it, or do you guys have it already? Okay, so someone said that some of you guys have it installed. So if you guys
I'm
have it
here.
installed, we
All
can
right,
just move
Oshioke,
on.
you're saying something. I didn't get it
So
clearly.
we're going to set up a simple React application before we do next year's. So for React, you can come to the React. I'm going to show you guys two ways of setting up a React application. So we go to the official documentation here, which is react.dev. Okay. So you click on React. So you go to so, okay. So we're going to make use of create React app for setting up a React application. So the first thing you need to do is that you create a new folder. You can call it anything. Let's say file code. So once you open up your VS Code, we're going to first of all install some extensions that are needed. So so in your VS Code, you go to the extensions tab. So the first thing that you want to set up is Prettier. So Prettier basically helps you to format your code so that your code can be presentable and can be readable. So you go to your extensions tab, then you search for Prettier, then you install it. After installing Prettier, you need to set it up. So you come to this, you see this icon below here, manage, by your bottom left corner. So if you click on manage, you go to settings here, then you search for format. Uh, you search for format. So in your format, you see default formatter. So you need to change this to your default formatter. After you've installed Prettier, you change it to Prettier. You change it to Prettier. Then you make sure that format on save is ticked. So anytime you save your file, it's going to automatically format for you using. What else? Again. The another thing that you want to do is wrap. So you search for wrap, you see word wrap.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah, I think the mentor is back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry, please, where did I stop?
You talked
I
about
think you are
rapping.
asking them. Yeah, someone is speaking.
What?
You wanted showing us where you rap the text.
Okay, okay. Sorry, my network went off. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so so for the word wrap, I was saying that if it's off, you see how this is how it makes you have to scroll horizontally to see your whole code. In is that scrolling at all. You understand? So that's why we need word wrap. Then I don't did you guys hear me when I talked about tailwind? Okay, okay. So I was talking about tailwind. So the next thing that you need to install is tailwind. Oh, yes, yes. Intelligence. So and you know when I talk okay, okay, Usman has a question. Usman, I'm listening to you. Usman,
Sir, I said, can you? I'm not hearing you well. Can you write the what we are going to install in the message place, sir?
okay. Okay. The rest of you, can you guys hear me?
So we didn't get some of the things you said,
Like what?
like word rap and some parts of the prettier, like the setting.
Okay, okay. So let me just go back again. So I was saying that so for prettier, I was saying that prettier format your code. It makes your code formatted because if you don't use prettier, because of when programming, you need to make your things like indentation to make your code more readable and understandable. So you go to extensions and you search for prettier, then you install it. Then I now spoke about setting it up. So the way you set it up is that you go to your settings, then you now search for formats, right? Did you guys hear up to this point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
uh So you go to format, then you make sure you set your default formatter to prettier, default formatter. Then you make sure that this format on save is ticked. So that anytime you save your document, it's going to format automatically for you. So that's how you set up prettier. Then then the next thing is tailwind. So I was saying that I was talking about tailwind. So the same way we have vanilla JavaScript, is the same way we have vanilla CSS. So so we have CSS frameworks which make writing CSS way easier for us. It makes it easier for us. So there are other CSS frameworks such as style components, stars, tailwind, and so on. But for this bootcamp, we're going to make use of Tailwind. Tailwind is like the most popular CSS framework. So Tailwind is a mobile first CSS framework that provides us with predefined classes that we can use to build our web applications. So we're going to be looking at it like more as we go on. So just install this. The next thing that we're going to be installing is let me just type it out for you guys. Um we have this one, ESM plus React Reels and React. Are you guys hearing me?
Can hear you, but the line is breaking.
The line is breaking. I'm coming. Like very well now. Can you guys hear me very well?
Yes.
Okay. So I said the next thing that you need to install is this ES7 React Redux Native snippet. So I will, I will talk about that later. Then I think that's basically everything that we need. So we're going to just do one more thing. Then we'll call it a day. So if you go back to that React documentation link I sent you, this is how we create. So this is how we create a you know um this is for next year's um incoming incoming create React. So yeah. So this is how you create a React app. So you use these scripts. So if you go back to your VS Code, if you open your terminal here, so in order to create the React app, you just do npx create React app, then the name of your app. So I think I can call it FiTech app. Then if I click it, so do you want to proceed? You say yes. Mm, Someone has a question. Okay, the attendance. So this takes like a lot of time depending on your network and your computer. So so there are faster ways of creating this. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So once this sets up, so I don't know While he's setting up, if there's any question, does anybody have any question regarding to this class?
Um, I need help setting up the React from beginning to end. I've just started setting up the Node
Mm.
JS and I'm trying to install it, but I wasn't following through the React. So I
Oh.
think I need help concerning that.
Okay, so this class is recorded, so you can go through the recording at any time.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Is there any other person? That's any other question. So you see that it has this. Okay. What is the ES7 for? So ES7 is basically snippets. So I'll show you guys that maybe tomorrow. Does anybody else have any question? You can go. But why are we not using Next.js? So I'm just showing you guys how to set up React. So I'm going to look at Next.js. Next.js is what we are going to be primarily using. So I'm just showing you guys React first. Then we'll go to Next.js next. So after it has built, you have this application set up. So we have some folders already and some files, which we're going to be looking at more in detail tomorrow. So to see this application, we can just run npm. So we have to first cd into the folder, then we run npm run start. So somebody have the question. Yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned HTML, you mentioned CSS, and you mentioned JavaScript. So my
Yeah.
question is, are we going to be making use of HTML and CSS?
Yeah. HTML front-end development is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next person, Darius. Darius, you can unmute yourself. Or Abbas Usman, anyone.
Sir, what are you going to be using them for in blockchain, sir?
So you know how. So the reason why we are doing front-end developments in blockchain is because even if I'm sure you guys know what smart contracts are. So once you create smart contracts and you deploy your smart contract on the blockchain, how can users make use of your smart contract? Let's say like the normal person. So you cannot now, so you can't be taking them to the block explorer to be interacting with your smart contract. So the best thing to do is for you to create an application, a front-end application that can interact with that smart contract that you've deployed. So imagine you create a smart contract that is used for voting and you deploy it. You can create an application that where somebody can just come, click and vote directly on their. So maybe you can call it www.blockchainvotes.com. So somebody can just go on the website and just interact with your blockchain indirectly through your application. So that is why we are learning how to build front-end applications. Do you get?
Okay, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So Darius, are you ready? Tech Explorer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I want to know that I understand what you explained. Like you said that JavaScript is a language on its own. Then, when it comes to like Node.js and React, they are not languages, they are frameworks under JavaScript. Am I
Uh
right?
yes.
Okay, let me be sure. I want to know the programming language
Good
or
morning, sir.
framework.
Okay, you want me to explain?
Yes, I want to know. I want more explanation on that because
Okay.
if I'm asking before, if I'm asking difference between Node.js and JavaScript, they will be like giving differences. And I'm thinking that they are different programming languages on their own. But since you
Okay.
said framework,
So Node.js, React.js, JavaScript. They are all JavaScript. They are all JavaScript. It's just that they are some are frameworks. So frameworks, some are like Node.js is a JavaScript framework. It's a JavaScript backend framework, which is used for creating backend applications. Then React and Next.js, they are front-end frameworks. So which they make writing JavaScript easier for front-end developments. You get me? So that's basically like the summary of it. So Abbas Usman.
Is React library or framework, sir?
Eh?
Is React library or framework?
So 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 that's one argument that's mostly there. So but technically and officially, React is a library. React is a library because the reason why React is a library is because when building a React application, you need to install other dependencies from different places. But if you look at frameworks like maybe Angular, Angular has everything that you need already. It's already like the complete package. But React, you still need to install some certain dependencies to make it complete. So officially and technically, React is a library, not a framework. So, immersing.
Okay, sir. What is the main difference between? Because I know they share some similarities. What's the main difference between Next.js as a framework and React?
So Next.js is a framework on top of React. So um Next.js is a framework on top of React. So the only difference is that with Next.js offers more features than React. So Next.js offers things like SEO management, app router, and so on, so on. So that's just the difference. But they are both JavaScript. It's just that there are some things that they may do differently, like routing. So yeah. So this Dario says Node.js makes it possible to run JavaScript outside a browser, and that's true. So I don't know. Is there any other question before we call it a day? Is there any other question? Um. So whoever rolls up his hand, please can you just ask your question? Is there any other question? Hello?
No, sir. Actually, sir.
Okay. So if there's no questions, you can call it a day. Thank you all for coming today. Okay. Fight it. Want to say something?
All right. Please ensure to fill up the attendance. It's in the comment section before you leave the call. Then, Mentor Oshioke, you'll be available tomorrow, right? So tomorrow by 9.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. So the next class will be tomorrow by 9 a.m.
Sure. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, boss.
All right.
So, quick one. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So, yeah, I just want to say, should in case any one of you guys are facing some challenges or any difficulty regarding installation of your Node.js or setting up the React workspace, the picture, and everything that our mentor just talked with you guys with. there this morning, so you can just reach out in the group, either the, the Discord channel or the WhatsApp, then yeah, so that we, the submitter, can help you with that. If there's no challenges at all, just let us know so that will help you set your front end development environment. Because in the coming days now, it will come in handy. So we won't want a situation whereby when we start front end, we are having to like set up for some of you guys. So we just want to make sure that everyone has a working environment ready before we officially start the front end integration of the smart contract. Yeah, Abba, you want to say something?
So he explained about building our smart contract. Did he? I don't know. I come late. Did he explain how to build our smart contract?
Yeah, today class, what he did today was that he just helped the student here to guide them on how to set up their front end environment. So there is nothing related to smart contract on for this today class. But in the coming weeks, you guys will learn how to do that using your Solidity, Cairo, and Ross to write smart contract. But for today class, it's just about how to set up your front-end environment. So when the time comes, I think by next week, the writing of smart contract will start next week officially.
I understand, sir. I get it.
Yeah, anyone with any other question or concern? Okay, like I said, if anyone can Python be used to write smart contracts? From the top of my mind, I don't think there is at the moment. What I know, Starknet use Cairo to write their smart contract, and some other things like leaks and others use Solidity, while the likes of Solana use Rust to write their smart contract. So regarding Python being used to write smart contract, I can't really give you a straight answer on that because I haven't come across something like that. But yeah, probably some changes do because there are a lot of changes coming up these days, and there are a lot of different ecosystems using different things tools to write their own smart contract. But from currently, I have no idea of any ecosystem using Python to write their smart contract. Yeah, maybe that can be something we can Google search and learn about maybe after this call. I hope I answered that. Yeah. Anyone else with anything? Okay, so like I say, if anyone have any problem setting up their front-end environment, you can reach out to me or the other submitter on the WhatsApp group or Discord channel. Yeah. And can you, for anyone that's also done with their own, can you just like kind of signify the group or the Twitter or anywhere just to share a screenshot of what you did and how you set up your environment so that we'll know that you guys really do something today, kind of thing. Yeah. Just say a post or drop it on your on WhatsApp so that we know that you guys set up your environment. And if there's any issue, like I said, you can just reach out. You can reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you guys. Yeah, that's all from my end. Thank you guys for attending today's class. Barka de Sala. Oh, okay. Tech Explorer, you want to say something?
Please, was today's class YouTube live? Let me watch what was done today because as before,
Yeah,
was it
yeah, it's
YouTube live
recorded.
before?
It's recorded. The session was recorded, so I believe Mr. George will upload it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, Miss Lizzie, you have the question.
Um, some of the I mostly go through the recordings on YouTube, and I noticed that not all the classes are here, or is it my eyes? But there are some classes that I feel I'm missing here. I don't know.
Okay, I think Mr. George will be the one to answer that. But going forward, I believe we will kind of structure the whole thing on the YouTube channel well so that it will be easier to navigate around.
Yeah.
Maybe have a
I can see
playlist.
just 6 classes here, and we've done more than that.
Yeah, okay, Mr. George want to say something.
All right. The remaining classes that you're not seeing, just check under the live section because those ones we stream them live so that we can get the recording as fast as possible because of based on complaints and responses from the students. So just check under the live sections, be able to see them. But for easier
Yeah,
way
I've
to
seen.
track all the classes, check under recordings on the Discord channel. You could track everything there.
All of them. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, that makes sense. All right. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. George. I hope we are able to answer your questions. So if there is no question at the moment, yeah, have a lovely day and happy coding. So if you have any question or any concern or anything at all on how to set up, just reach out on the WhatsApp. We are here for you guys. Thank you for having us.